the most times. But the countdown has begun, guys. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere because, I mean, if those first couple of games were any indication of what we've got in store here in the later stages of this Playhem Daily, I don't know if I can actually make it to the end, Kibbles. I might have a heart attack.
I already had one, man. My arteries feel a lot clearer. I had it. It passed. Actually, I pushed out that cholesterol, and now I just feel fantastic.
Meets the sodium, man. The sodium kills me. I love my salt, my salty snacks, my chips, my French fries. All right, guys, welcome back.
I'm recovering.
Still shaking? Still got the crazy high blood pressure? It happens, man, from time to time.
Guys, as Gatu said, welcome back. We are in another match with EGHuK, who is now EGHuK, but it says EGHuK.
Nice save. I like you. You are smooth as silk. Gonna start calling you Suave.
I'd say maybe wood if you're going against the grain. Could have definitely done better.
All right, Kibbles, let's get some intros done here. Spawning in the left-hand position, we've got TheMarine. He's playing the red Zerg pieces, and Huck here going for a straight-up scout. Is he going to do some kind of proxy gate play?
Well,
he hasn't put down a pylon yet.
He does
there
actually,
it is.
He does actually have the pylon down in his third, nice and far back, and this is obviously a Forge Fast expand, guys. Will we see him use, this is either what am I saying? 2 gateway opening, or he's going to be using his cyber core as part of his wall off, which is definitely the more likely of the two choices. Fast expand 2 gate is pretty easily countered by 1 base Roach. You just see the expand, you're like, oh, I'm just going to actually cancel my expansion and kill you. But I gotta say, man, Roach play has become pretty popular after Lennox devastating, terrorizing events at MLG.
Yeah, it's definitely the new flavor of the month. And you know what, man? Roaches are pretty good.
Yeah, and especially when your opponent goes for cyber core as part of their wall, it can be really, really scary. But Marine actually just going to be opening here with an expansion of the gold, which Huck is going to see immediately.
Yeah, Huck, I mean, he's been playing versus Korean players quite obviously. He lives in Korea, practices versus Koreans. And look at that, he's going to go right into the cannon rush here versus that gold base. Will the Marine sniff that out in time or instead lose his hatchery? It's definitely going to be close here. He's sending out a couple of Zerglings. Oh, boy.
It's probably the first position he's going to check. I mean, if we recall Lennox when he played on this game in the finals, he saw this is the exact same thing that happened. So here the Zerglings do come. This position kind of, predictable in a way. But Huck just going to cancel, force these links to be tied up here. One of the links did run to the Zelnaga Tower. A little surprised. Did not proceed to check for the fast expand. And suddenly I'm not so surprised because the Overlord has great vision of it. So cannon being dropped by Huck. It is a little bit late, but these Zerglings are staying to deal with the pylon. And we'll see where he goes from here. Actually building his gateway towards the back, so not going for the immediate wall off. I honestly am quite surprised by that. Cybernetics core, something you typically put back. So we'll see what Huck has in mind moving into the mid game here. Obviously, he's got something.
Yeah, I mean, your opponent getting a gold base definitely sets you behind here from the get-go, and that is a risk you take when you go for a Forge Fast Expand. Obviously, you're not going to have any units for a really long time, can't put on any pressure, and right here, we see the Marine just taking straight advantage of that. He's now sending some Zerglings to the front here, and again, that's going to make it hard for Huck to get out any kind of other probe, and I bring that to your attention because his probe did get found there by the Marine, so he's got nothing out on the map here to do any scouting at all.
Absolutely, and that's something that a Protoss, absolutely hates. He's trying to sneak out another probe immediately, and that's a pretty good indicator that he intends to do some sort of timing push, but the Overlord was in position, so if Marine was on the ball with his map presence, he would have seen that probe depart. Easily could have missed it. Huck going to be queuing that to go up towards the area above the main base of the Marine, and we'll see if a timing push is on the way. He's got +1 started up right now. Get the Zerglings
Yeah,
out of
timing
the
push
space.
definitely could be a great move here. I mean, the gold base is really hard to actually hold, right? It is just so wide open. If you think spine crawlers are going to help you defend that gold base, you are dead wrong, Kibbles. And that's a pretty quick lair here coming from the Marine. He started that at about the 6-minute mark. And this is a little reminiscent of like early StarCraft 2, just near the release, where a 6-minute lair was like a standard lair. And then players just started pushing it back further and further and further, going no gas, just getting so many minerals, so many drones. And I wonder what he is rushing to here. Hasn't taken his 3rd and 4th gases, though, so I'm a little bit intrigued.
Well, you know what I really like out of when you have this quick gold base play? You get a lot of good creep spread towards the middle of the map. So Hydralisk play can actually be really, really effective because there's a lot of creep already on the board. And we see a nice creep spread coming out of the Marine. Now, that may or not be the route. Oh, he does drop the Hydralisk Den. So excited to see this, man. Violet tends to favor this sort of play. Really nice Roach Hydra timings. And the Marine going to be doing exactly that. So I'm glad to see he's using the creep spread that he already has to his benefit. Overlords now can be moving into position to further that creep spread, hopefully.
And EGHuK has a Stargate on the way. And you know what, man? Hydra's pretty good against a Stargate. And, I mean, even if he doesn't really make that many Stargate units, it still means that his robotics facility and thus robotics bay are going to be extremely delayed here. And, I mean, Hydralisks are pretty bad because Colossus hard counter them so hard. Storms are extremely good against them as well. But if you don't have either of those two things, all of a sudden you are just in this crazy like netherworld. It's like the upside down Bizarro world where Hydralisks are actually just crazy good.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, not a lot of players are able to use them against Protoss. We'll see if the Marine is a player who can. Violet obviously has shown that they are completely capable against Protoss. So Hydra is dealing with Zealots right now. There is a proxy pylon that somehow EGHuK got this probe behind the gas without the Marine realizing, has warped it in, and we know EGHuK, man, against Zerg, he has no problem just being like, oh, I'm actually going to warp a few DTs in your base and kill it. So we'll see how
hold
long
that
he
thought.
leaves that
Zealots
around.
at the gold base, Kibbles.
Now, how many workers has he killed at this point? Absolutely none whatsoever. Will he get one here? Nope, still none. So nothing really being achieved there by EGHuK. Just losing those Zealots for free. And, you know, that's something you don't want to do. You at least want to kill a few units. But so far, he's just losing pretty much everything and really just trying to harass and keep the Marine from pressuring with these Hydralisks until he can develop an answer for them. Which his answer is going to be Colossus. His robotics bay is on the way right now. And
yeah, man.
I like this transition out of EGHuK because this is a map where you can secure the third pretty easily. There's only one attack route for Zerg really down the middle unless he decides to go for Hydralisk drops. So I like it. He just needs to grab this third base because 2-base Colossus is more of a timing push than it is a composition.
Yeah, that's definitely true, but I mean, you had it down pat, man. He's just doing those Zealot warpins to buy himself a bit of time. And you know what? He's still got a pylon down here in the natural of his opponent's base that hasn't even been scouted just yet. But EGHuK's got to be extremely careful because now the Hydras are across the map, so even if he does warp in some units over at his opponent's base, it's going to more result in a base race scenario than it will an actual delay because there's no way he's going to send all of his Hydras back home. So we're definitely going to get a cancel here on that Nexus. There's nothing EGHuK can do. Oh my god, EGHuK, are you actually going to try to engage those Hydralisks? That would be insane.
EGHuK pulling back now, going to lay down some force fields, but he's going to lose a good chunk of sentries here to these links. Only loses one, actually. This one surviving with just 3 hit points. The cannon on the high ground definitely going to help when Marine pushes, if and when Marine pushes up this ramp. But if Marine pushes up this ramp and doesn't do the damage that he really needs to do, the Colossus is almost completed. Thermal Lance is halfway done. EGHuK just needs to hold on until this Colossus arrives, and then he could absolutely devastate this army. 3 sentries remain. Marine has done a lot of damage to EGHuK already in terms of denying the expansion and killing off so many sentries. He, behind this, though, is not macroing that hard. His worker count actually below EGHuK. Now the Colossus is on the field, and it is going to shred up some Hydras, Katu.
The tricky thing is that there's an Overseer to spot the high ground, and these Hydras have the plus range upgrade, whereas the Colossus does not. So we've just saw this fantastic control there by EGHuK to keep his Colossus alive, and he will indeed survive to fight another day. And you know what, man? It's actually pretty even supply. That is really impressive. He still has this hidden pylon down at the natural of his opponent. Could do some great harassment right now while the Hydras are trying to come back home.
I can't even believe the Overseers do not see that. There was something of a harass in the main right now. 50 to 50 workers, guys. EGHuK going to get his third base, and this is what we were talking about. If he secures this third, EGHuK is gonna remember this. EGHuK is gonna be in a great position, guys. Moving into this game now, he's got his third base going down. The gold. This is exactly what we were just talking about on Shattered Temple, Katu. Actually, Marine got a fast.